Experience the thaumaturgical prowess of a master. Peddlers will tell you about the strength of their craft, but words are nothing to an intelligent person such as yourself, which is why I show you proof of my abilities. For a fee, I could lend my magical might towards whichever end you seek. A coin and I would be delighted to comply. What captivates your soul? To witness life through another's brows? The soar in freedom between the clouds? To see to those wrapped in shrouds? Ghostly figure I command, so show what it looks like at the end. Sad to say, but my work is complete. Ask me for another when next we meet.
I admit it's quite a story, but I know the difference between a tall tale and a large problem. I'll help however I can.
I shudder to think what your Elven circus would consider far-fetched. I'm not so sure I believe it myself.
My rival returns! Do you seek to pit your dancing skills against mine once again? Or have you simply come for the beautiful scenery? Quite well, thank you. The work of a master dancer never ends. And I hope this sojourn abroad will expose me to dances I've never encountered in Somerset. Did you know the Reach folk have a complicated ritual dance that goes back centuries? Well, that would be grand, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, alchemy believes that any overtures would be met with harsh words, at best, and unsheathed weapons at worst. Still, I hold out hope that I'll learn something new during our travels.
How wonderful to see you again. Have you come to spread the wonders of Nord culture to Farmer's Nook? Or did you leave Rigert behind on this journey? A shame. Boisterousness aside, he can be quite entertaining under the right circumstances. Still, it's good to see you well and still about your travels. I figured you'd have been eaten by a dragon by now. I jest, of course. Don't give me that look.
My, you're as free-roaming as a traveling circus. I wouldn't have expected we'd cross paths on the other side of Tamriel. I would invite you to join us as a guest performer, but our show is cancelled indefinitely. On account of drama, ironically. There's a more sinister mischief in Farmer's Nook than the sort the House of Reveries trades in. I hear of townsfolk disappearing, only to turn up and act oddly. We only set camp recently, but the locals fear we've somehow caused their plight. None. That farmer Hesef said his sister was among the afflicted, and she died recently. At least he thought she died, but she left no corpse. I must clear the troop's name. With the locals wary as they are, though, I need help. And I can pay. Hesef mentioned that 2 of his neighbors also had loved ones vanish. Braden DeVoe and Jahuz. Speak with them. They may be more open with a less grandiose traveler. You might also speak with Hesef directly, if you wish. Patching things up with my sister was easier than I expected. I should have given her more credit. They say you can never truly know another person, but talking helps. You should pay another visit. Maybe audition for real this time. Sleepy little towns like Farmer's Nook are the most in need of an escape from the mundane. We came to offer them some mirth and mystery, but it appears we've been upstaged. Well, our troop won't be outdone so easily. We have a reputation to uphold. Help, of course. I've devoted my life to liberating people from their troubles, however briefly. And if I can't do that from a stage, then I will take my talents where they are most needed. Have you forgotten already? I may have abandoned joining the Sapiarchy, but I was still a top candidate among many a talented scholar and mage. I don't have your experience as an adventurer, but I'm more suited to unraveling this mystery than most.
So, working with the mummers. They may seem strange, but you're safer resting at their camp than at the inn. Not to say Braden runs a poor establishment, mind. There's just strangeness afoot in our little village. Folk have been going missing of late, including my sister, Seal. Never for long, a few days. Just enough to plant a worry before they wander back as if nothing happened. But something did. They come back different. Like everything's unfamiliar. Weren't her memory. She could recall details down to where she last left the salt, but acted like she'd never tasted it. She'd bring up things I'd long forgotten as if they'd happened yesterday. Started dredging up old hurts we'd put past us long ago. Can't say. Felt like she wanted to relive the past, good and bad. Don't know what would have brought that on. We lead quiet lives now. Happy lives, I thought. Led, I suppose. She's gone now. If it was even her in the first place. Seal led me to our old swimming hole. Hadn't been there in decades. She dove right in like we did as kids. I looked away before she struck the water. She hit hard. When I screwed up the courage to look, just inky black water. She was gone. That's right. Even with that ink in the pool, I could tell her body weren't there. I searched around the swimming hole, too. Nothing. Not so much as a wet footprint, or even more of that vile ink, like she'd vanished. A lot from our childhood, mostly. If our parents were around, they were deep in the skooma, so Seal and I had to look out for each other. Not so much anymore. The years have been peaceful here. I suppose we'd grown distant before she vanished. No. Maybe. We'd sit down for meals together and tend the farm together, but there's not much to talk about in Farmer's Nook. Another field planted, another day gone by. Was she trying to tell me something? What was she trying to say? We were all a bit shaken by what happened with Igmund, but things were getting back to normal. Until Seal went out to collect logs and didn't return. I begged the others to help me search for her, but they feared they'd vanish too. Truth is, I didn't make it far myself. I thought I heard things in those woods. Even during the day, it felt like something was watching. When she showed up at the house again, I nearly fainted. I should have been relieved, but I felt haunted. Can a ghost take your hand? Make a meal? If she slept, I never saw it. I barely slept myself. The staring was the worst. Felt like she was always watching, smiling. When she'd blink, it was like one eye was a hair shy of the other. Gave me chills.
Hesef mentioned that two of his neighbors also had loved ones vanish. Braden DeVoe and Jahuz. Speak with them. They may be more open with a less grandiose traveler. You might also speak with Hesef directly, if you wish.
I heard rumors about this place being haunted or cursed or some such before I came out here. That's all nonsense, of course. People get so dramatic when they think they know better than you.
Ah! Careful! You might have scared the mayor. Who are you? What do you want? You've come about Bugtail. I knew someone would, but my neighbors have kept their distance since he returned. I cannot blame them. I scarcely wish to take him back myself, not after Igmund and Seal, but I couldn't bring myself to turn him away. Yes, or rather, I fear I will share his fate. Bugtail rode out to deliver a horse despite my protest. The gelding returned. He did not. Before I would have been the first to go looking, but I dreaded he'd return, like the others. And he did. Dead, or gone, for now. Even the horses could tell something was wrong with him. I fought with this one's reins as he groomed her, but she started and kicked Bugtail. Ink sprayed everywhere. When I cleared my eyes, it was all that remained. I do not wish to speak of what has happened here, but I will. How many more will vanish and return to haunt us if no one tries to stop it? What is it you wish to know, stranger? I would not have suspected anything amiss had I not known of what happened to Igmund and Seal. There was nothing sinister in his look or manner. If anything, he regarded me more warmly than he had in years. Normally, he could go days without a word. He seemed to want to reminisce about our more adventurous days, before we escaped to Farmer's Nook and settled down to raise horses. They were livelier times, but I would not trade them for what I have now. In the far-off land of Elsewhere, I was taken by sea elf privateers and sold into imperial slavery. Bugtail had been a slave for many years when I arrived. Like many Khajiit after Queen Eurexia invaded Elsewhere. We bonded because we spoke so little. You may think me a spinner of tall tales, but I swear I speak no lies. Bugtail and I were languishing under the hot sun, digging new metal for the Imperial Queen, when a dragon swooped out of the sky and scorched the land. In the chaos, we ran. I hope those days have better prepared you for our troubles than I. Truthfully, I do not know what scared me more, seeing that giant fire-belching beast, or my quiet friend standing at my door, like a phantom.
I saw several Reachmen run north, headed home. May a werewolf devour them before they get there.
We're out of meat and no hot meals. If those are luxuries to which you're accustomed, you can keep on moving and find another inn. What are you, some sort of adventurer? Yeah. Yeah, you look the part. Sorry I was short with you. Since Igmund passed, I've had to work twice as hard and twice as long to run the inn. It's done my manor no favors. Damned fool. He wanted to build a bonfire and drink the night away like we used to. Haven't seen Igmund down mead like that since we were barely men. He lost his legs and tumbled into the fire. Nothing but cinders left by the time I doused the blaze. Not so much of a scrap of clothing. Just black, tarry ashes. Never seen anything throw such a thick black smoke. But it didn't smell like you'd expect. Hair and burned flesh. More like old hay or musty linens. It wasn't natural. I want to know what happened to my brother. Whether he's alive or truly dead. Even if the truth says he really did die in that fire, at least I can put my doubts to rest. What do you wish to know? That's right. He'd gone to get supplies from Gideon. What should have been a couple of days turned into more than a week. I'd begun to fear that he'd been robbed and left for dead on the road, but he wandered back into town like nothing had happened. Said he got lost. As if he hadn't walked that road 1,000 times. I'd have accused him of gambling our money away on toad races, but he had every piece of gold he left with. How do you spend a week lost in the wood and not look worse for wear? Like he didn't have a care in the world. He seemed to be enjoying even the usual drudgery. Never thought I'd miss his belly aching over the chores, but he just didn't seem himself. No. Things were as they usually are in Farmer's Nook, uneventful. It's exciting times when our little inn sees more than a couple travelers in a month. Ever since Igmund got lost, things have been nothing but trouble. 2 others disappeared since Igmund, and all 3 were acting strange before they met untimely ends, if that's even what you could call it. No one wanders from the village now. Some folk are sleeping in my inn just to stick close.
Wait a moment, stranger. I need to speak with you. So you're the one's been asking questions about the people who've gone missing, then come back wrong? I don't like involving strangers in our affairs, but my daughter's gone. Not the first time, or even the 4th, that Annis has run off, but... well, you've heard what befell the others. I'm worried she's in real danger. A few days ago, I punished her for neglecting her chores again. She must have snuck out in the night. I couldn't find hide nor hair of her in the morning. She hasn't been home since. She's a stubborn one. But normally she'd have come back by now. I just want to know she's all right. I hate asking a stranger to do this, but no one else has the spine to leave the Nook right now. and I can't go traipsing after that rapscallion like I used to. Will you find Anise and bring her back to me? Our house is just over there, on the west side of town. There may be something among Anise's things that points to where she ran off to, but my nerves are too frayed to see it. I'm at my wit's end. She doesn't want to live here in Farmer's Nook, I can tell you that. That girl's been trying to get out of here since she was old enough to walk. She's still convinced she's going to travel to Abba's Landing and join some pirate crew. It's not like I raised her to embrace a life of piracy. It's those books her father got her when she was young. Filled her head with ridiculous tales of far-off lands, adventures, and riches. I sailed in my younger days. It's not so glamorous. Sailing is days of rope burns and sunburns. It's being tossed about the cabin while a storm rolls your ship. It's bad food, stale water, and wondering if you'll ever make it home. And that's not the life she's dreaming. And though she won't listen. We don't have much, I know. Anise never fails to remind me. Have you found anything that might lead to my daughter? That's just some old handbill Anise had been hanging on to. Months old. Some vessel seeking fresh-faced deckhands that's long since pulled up anchor. I pitched it to the hearth after our last argument. Probably why she left, but not where. When Anise was little, we couldn't keep her away from it. She'd grab it when we weren't looking and batter the walls and stairs, pretending it was her pirate sword. Drove my husband crazy. I've made do for so long I never bothered to replace it. What's that doing out? Anise's plan for a fort. My husband built it for her when she was about 6. Well, it must be a moldering wreck by now. Unless... if she hasn't run off to join that elf circus, she might be there. It was east of here, in the hills.
Ah, you're off to find this Anise girl, then. Tell me what you've learned. I wasn't able to overhear everything. You've been gone for some time. You managed to persuade the locals to share their stories with you, yes? Did their firelight tales share any common themes? Restless phantoms returning to say their last goodbyes before being spirited away once more? This really is beginning to sound like a ghost story. It's all a little too coincidental, don't you think? There has to be a common cause. You and Hesef have been our only visitors at the camp. If Anise has only recently gone missing, there may still be a chance for us to find her before she becomes the latest victim in this ghost story. Do you have any leads? Seeking out a more comforting time, no doubt. Let's hope she hasn't escaped into the arms of a monster. I'll follow your lead. My expertise in stage combat won't do us much good, but I have a few other talents and tricks up my sleeve. What a charming little fort. Well cared for, loved. Annie's home away from home. We should look around. A list of departures. Annie's had a mind to travel. Footprints coming here and heading somewhere else. I wonder what adventures this tiny sword has seen. Seems our pirate raided the pantry before she left. She planned to be gone. I can picture our young heroine, wielding her imagination like a saber and cutting her way through all manner of adventure. I crave adventure and freedom. Play is my only escape. I come here to plan. I fantasize about leaving. Doubt holds me back. I need someone to believe in me. So often I'm alone, but today I have a visitor. Someone I trust. I go with them. I've never been more excited. I believe I have thrust to the heart of the matter. Hear me out. Getting into character, you could say. Preparing for a part is all about understanding my role. How they think, how they feel. Anything and everything about who they are. I have always had a good head for details, and it serves me well as an actress. She's young, or at least young at heart. She's unhappy with her life, but she feels trapped. She has a dream to follow, but she's too scared to go it alone. Only now she's found help. One place to sleep, yet 2 mugs on the crate, both unfinished. And of course, 2 sets of footprints heading south, into the marsh, dancing all the way. The only way forward is to follow in their steps. Shall we dance too? I don't know who Annie's met out here, but the clues suggest that she wasn't in danger. Yet. We shouldn't dawdle. That might very well be the case, though I have to wonder why she'd leave her pack behind if she had no intention to return. I don't like meddling in someone's family affairs, but let's confirm she's all right before we jump to any conclusions. Someone she trusted enough to share a drink with. There's little doubt in my mind that she left with them voluntarily. The question is, was this person really who they appeared to be? We won't know the answer to that until we catch up with them. The tracks lead to this ruin. Did Annie's come here seeking adventure? We should look around. Despite the smell, I don't think that's a funerary urn. The ashes are too fresh. There are bits of paper in this brazier, but most of these books are too soggy for tinder. This book is well worn, but hardly old. Given the subject matter, I'd wager it belonged to Annie's. Well, this is troubling. I believe Annie's came here and performed some sort of ritual, and not the sort conjured from an overactive imagination. Whoever she followed here convinced her to make an offering to this place. I'm certain that well-worn adventure book was a dear possession to Annie's. She wouldn't have torn pages from it for a lark. She burned them in that brazier with her own blood for some ritual purpose. Daedric rituals weren't on my curriculum in the College of Sapiarchs, but I've studied enough magic to puzzle this out. There's a good chance Annie's will return to town, like the others. If she does, confront her about this. If Annie's does return to Farmer's Nook, be careful confronting her. The last thing we want is for her to do something drastic and come to harm like those who came before her. Afraid my witty repartee won't be enough to keep me out of trouble? I'm hurt. Trust me when I say I know how to make a dramatic exit when I need to, but if I don't return to town in a short while, assume the worst.
Anise, everything all right?
You. Your mother's looked all over for you. Where have you been?
Ugh, I ran away again, all right? Just be glad I came back at all.
Darkness falls and chaos spreads. Betrayal fills the day.
Well, she certainly acts like a niece. I'll be keeping my eye on her all the same. Can't say for certain. She only just returned and I can't say the girl and I were all that close. I'd just assume the worst if it's all the same to you.
I want to believe that this is really Anise, but just keep seeing my sister when I look at her. Please, you need to put an end to this. Can't live life looking over my shoulder like this. I can't say. Just a feeling in my gut. Gotta watch her a while yet to know for certain. If she's like Seal, the eyes will tell. Mark my word.
What's the big deal? This is the 7th time I tried running away in 3 years. Why are they all gawping at me like they're afraid to blink? Do I know... No, I don't know you. Why do you care? And none of those people disappeared. They went after their dreams. I'm not the only one who has those, you know. Nobody wants to be stuck in Farmer's Nook for their whole life. They just didn't want anyone to miss them. It's why I'm here now. I didn't want the last time my mom saw me to be after another fight. But they have to let us go sometime. What? No, it's not like they're buried in a crypt or anything. I'm just trying to say I'm not the only one who felt trapped here. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. I don't even know you.
I hate to interrupt, but... may we have a word in private? So, that's Anis Favrod. What do you make of her? How apropos, considering that little library we found is a shrine to Hermaeus Mora. Though I'm still not sure how the Demon of Knowledge fits into this puzzle of ours. Why would Anis consort with it? Perhaps I should have made an offering of my own? It certainly looks that way. I didn't find anything relating to the ritual that was performed at that shrine, but some of those moldy tomes shed a little light on things. The Aelids, who used to live out here, revered Mora as their principal prince. The shrine we found was simply one of many ruins. I discovered record of another ruin near to Farmer's Nook. If we're dealing with a cult, or some other servants of Mora, it would make the perfect hideaway. What do you say we go check it out? The ruin I spoke of is north of town, not too far. I'll have a word with the innkeeper and Hesef about keeping Anis occupied while we work, but if you wish to speak with anyone else before we head out, I'll wait here. We have reason to suspect that Anis is somehow involved in this mystery. Better to assume she is playing the role of the villain until we know more. Even if she's simply another victim of circumstance, it's safer for everyone that she stay put.
It was a fool thing of her to run off like she did at a time like this. Her mother needs to watch her like a hawk, even if there's nothing wrong with her.
Don't think she's noticed me staring. I'm too scared to take my eyes off her. Divines only know what she'll do. Whatever you and Alchemy have a mind to do, do it soon.
She's back. She's safe. Oh, it feels like I've pulled my heart from a vice. Oh, sorry I troubled you with another of Anis's tantrums. No, nothing. She looks right as rain, and I'd recognize that attitude anywhere. I know what you're driving at. You're saying I should be worried? Well, out with it. Ritual? What nonsense has gotten into the girl's head now? Anis doesn't know the first thing about magic. She's just got an overactive imagination and too much free time. Well, thank you for telling me. I'll mention it when I ground her.
The ruin I spoke of is north of town, not too far. I'll have a word with the innkeeper and Hesef about keeping Anis occupied while we work, but if you wish to speak with anyone else before we head out, I'll wait here.
I once traveled the seas as a deckhand, seeking to learn all the songs sung on the seas. I now perhaps use too much alliteration in my own speech after memorizing many songs to share with my eggkin at home.
This looks right. After you, adventurers first.
Stand back, you e-swab! You cannot board this vessel until you have satisfied me, the mighty Flicker!
Look out, she's... Mighty Flicker? From the saga of Captain Wereshark? That I did not expect. Ancient ruin protected by fictional guardian is a twist I never saw coming. Was this Anis's doing? Regardless, I believe you'll need to convince the guardian to let us pass. While that would make an extraordinary claim for the Game of Boasts, the mighty Flicker there is nothing more than an illusion. The ward upon the door you'll find much stronger. We don't. Trying to dispel or break it with force would be an undertaking, if not an impossibility. Unlocking it, however, might simply require you to play the part the Guardian expects you to play. And you have the script on hand. No need to be so literal, love. It makes for dull lines. The book used in the ritual at that shrine earlier, the saga of Captain Wereshark. That should give you some insight into how the Guardian expects you to respond. Convince it that we belong.
Think you can sail with me, wee one? I've felled giants like trees. I've slapped a dragon around until it got down and licked my hand. I've kicked Molag Bal in the arse once, and he begged me to do it again. Ha ha! Answer me this. Why do we sail? And there you have it. What worth is booty if it isn't earned? What is a battle if you don't cut a bloody swath through your enemies? We sail for honor, for glory! Now brace yourself, wee one. You face the Argonian next!
Will the sea swallow you like so many others? The high seas run deeper than any river, filled with the blood of enemies. A challenge awaits you, sailor. Are you prepared to give our journey your all? Or will you wilt like a mushroom in summer? Tell me, speak true. Why do we sail? I erect the spine of respect. I have fought countless monsters alongside the Wereshark, yet none has ever bested me in battle, much to my regret. One day, I hope, I will meet that which can kill me. Now, face Two Scars, and rejoice in Sithis.
think you have what it takes to join the Wereshark's crew? I doubt it. So, you've impressed the big bear and the hard turtle. So what? I walk in the shadow and sleep in the trees. I drink snake venom and piss-honeyed mead. I'm the baddest, sharpest, meanest pirate on the high seas, but I don't sail alone. Why? That's right, we're family! Every one of us, from the captain himself to the lowliest swabber of decks, is one big, happy, fierce, terrifying family. No mere crew can hold a candle to us, because we're not a crew, we're blood. Welcome aboard, kin.
Your performance could have used more verve, but it seems the Guardians aren't judging on enthusiasm. Let's head inside. Oriel above. It's Anise and all the others. They appear to be alive. Let's try waking them.
Yes. Bring back till more sweet rolls.
Oh, darling. That's lovely.
Gold. So much gold.
Dare ye cross sabers with Red Anise?
It's a dream. They're all dreaming. This is no normal sleep, but it's oddly benign for a curse. None of these people appear to be in distress. In fact, they seem to be dozing quite serenely. Some of them have been missing for weeks, yet they show no signs of poor health. Not from the spell they're under, no. Though why they were made to sleep and what our mystery stranger intends for them is still very much unknown. I believe so, but I'm not entirely certain we should. Right now, the spell isn't doing any harm, but tampering with it could change that. I'd like to get a better idea how Anise and the others came under this spell before I start striking it through. Now that you've rehearsed your role, let's cast you as a pirate in her fantasy. See if you can reach Anise within her dream and get her to wake up. When you're ready, place a hand on Anice's forehead and start counting sails.
Look alive! The dead have come for us! Sailor! What are you doing wandering around? Get across that gangplank and take the fight to these damn Draugr! If you're worried about Captain Wereshark, don't be. I won't let a single one of those embalmed bastards past me. You mean Red Anise, the Crimson Shrike? Then you need to head to the thick of it, sailor. As soon as Prince Valker's crew boarded us, she made straight for his throat. Last I saw, she was hounding the cadaver back onto his own ship. Below decks, of course, searching for a way to break this cursed calm. It's Prince Valker's work, have no doubt of that. Yet even his foul magics won't tame the crew of the Pale Spirit. The captain will find a way to put the wind back in our sails.
If you came to help, you have my thanks. But it's not needed. Looks like Prince Vogger is going down with his ship. Not that the ship is going down, I mean. It's just... You know what I mean. What did you... No. I'm Red Anise, the Crimson Shrike, and I'll skewer any swab who says otherwise. Stow it, sailor. With Prince Vogger dead, we need to find his treasure. Check his cabin, while I search the rest of the hold. This adventure isn't done until we've secured that treasure. Savvy? It then? Well, let's have a look. Prince Vogger's treasure was a book. Didn't know old Deadeyes could read. Well, let's get it back to Captain Wereshark. Maybe it'll help break the curse. Red Anise to you, Swabby. This book, this is about Captain Wereshark and Flicka and the others. I don't understand. This is all a story. But where am I? Why aren't I in the book? I remember it now. I remember it all. Damn it, Cress. You said I could finally escape, and no one would come for me. They wouldn't even know I was gone. That was the deal. Cress said that they would make it so I could finally live out my dreams. I could have this life, and they would take my place. I'd finally be free of Farmer's Nook, and my mom wouldn't ever need to worry about my life of piracy. I know. It was too perfect. I knew it was too perfect. Dreams don't last. That's why they're dreams. Just a few more moments. It was just getting good. I just want to celebrate victory with the captain once before this is all over. Maybe steal a kiss before I go. Please, I can tell you about Cress when we're back in the ruin. Just leave me with the dream a little longer.
You're awake! Good. It's been a while since I've worked any magic that didn't involve sleight of hand. Anise is still soundly asleep. Could you not get through to her in the dream? So, She stepped right into the story that's inspired her since she was little. That explains the ritual with that book. How better to keep her under the spell than to put her in a prison she wouldn't want to escape? Insidious. You're telling me this crest didn't take her place? They traded for it? And not just her, but everyone here. What does Cress have to gain from these bargains? To infiltrate the town? What could a sleepy village offer someone who can create dreams? The deal they made isn't so harmless as they might have believed. You've seen how frightened the villagers are. How many more need to vanish before Cress has whatever it is they want? They won't like it, but we should wake them and end this farce. Here we go. Pray that a rude awakening is the worst they have to suffer. It's ready. Wake Anise, and the curse will break.
Farewell, Captain.
No! He promised!
My gold!
My sweet rolls!
Where am I? Where's my gold? It was right here!
Give me a moment to catch my breath. I'm out of practice. I'm very much out of practice.
All right, so we're awake. Dreams shattered. A life of brooms and boredom ahead. Happy now? Cress is different. They looked like Bugtail when they approached me, but his clothes were covered in ink and he seemed unwell. They confessed that they weren't who they appeared to be, but they needed my help. Cress didn't look suspicious to me, just sad, vulnerable. They said they screwed up again, that they couldn't be who they were trying to be. Cress knew I didn't want to stay in Farmer's Nook, so they offered to take my place. I think they were running away too, from a life they didn't want to go back to. You know how many times I tried to do that? But I could never just leave my mom behind, alone. I thought we'd all be happy this way.
She would not.
Mother? I'm sorry.
If you wanted to be rid of me so bad, you could have sent a fake who did her chores.
Much as I love a happy ending, we haven't quite reached the conclusion just yet. You should speak to Anice's mother about the imposter. We mustn't let Cress escape. They have a look about them, one I've seen before. It's the look of a skooma addict, sick and desperate on the street, lost without their escape. With the help and support of those who love them, one can hope. Ultimately, it will be up to each of them to decide what's most important to them. It could be that the two spells were mingling. That's not something seen often. Or perhaps it's simply that this Cress person was also inspired by Anice's dream. Why indeed? It's easy to guess what motivated these people to pursue their wildest dreams, but the workings of this Cress's mind are inscrutable. What would you do if you were them? Would you leap at the chance to live a perfect fantasy? That's the rub, isn't it? Dreams are selfish things. To chase them, you risk leaving things behind, maybe everything. We all have to decide what we're willing to sacrifice in pursuit. Not everyone possesses your sense of obligation.
Where are we? Some kind of tomb? Where's my treasure? Last I remember, I was in my treasure room. Wait, So this is real? The dream is gone? My treasure's gone? Why would you do that? Why would he think I'm dead? That's not what Cress promised. He said he'd just be me. He even agreed to do my chores. Was that all a bunch of hogwash? Heck of a way to go. Wait, is Cress dead then? Damn it. I guess there's no hope making another deal.
How could you do this? How could you wake me? Cress said I would live in that dream forever. It was a damned sight better than this. I had a castle, servants, suitors hanging off my every word. I had everything I ever wanted. You don't know what it's like for us, growing up. We had nothing. We still have nothing. Hesef? Hesef seems happy with his plow and his pigs. He's a grown man, and more capable than I am at fending for himself. He doesn't need me anymore. And Cress was supposed to keep him company. We barely speak anymore as it is. Dead? Oh, Hesef, I never wanted that. I suppose I need to talk to him, like we used to. He deserves that much.
So delicious, so moist, and rich and warm. So much frosting. This one can just barely still taste them. The sweet rolls. The most delicious, moist, warm, fragrant sweet rolls to ever leave a baker's oven. Bugtail ate them often. Bugtail had them all. Yes, what else would one dream about? Have you never known the ecstasy of sweet moon sugar cream melting upon your tongue? This one has not tasted true sugar since he left elsewhere. He has missed it so. So he could, if he were satisfied with iced rolls grown stale from weeks on the road. But when one offers the chance to have them at their freshest and most perfect, always and forever, why would Bugtail not take such a bargain?
It was nice, you know, but I'm sorry this caused so much trouble.
Oh, thank you for finding my girl. I'd never imagined she'd have gone to such lengths to get away from here. I should have listened sooner. I followed you. I was glad to see Annie's back in town, but I knew deep down that wasn't my girl, and watching her act the part made the worry in my gut so much worse. I had to see for myself. Back at the Happy Crow, I told Brayden he could put whatever she liked on my tab if it kept her occupied. If you wish to find the freeloader, that's where she'll be.
We will trust Mile to see these people safely back to town. You and I should find Cress at once.
I missed her, even in the dream. It was easy to get lost in the adventure at first, but I think it would have been harder and harder to ignore feeling homesick, knowing I couldn't go back.
Try not to judge them too harshly for their grouchiness. We just ripped them from the most pleasant slumber they've ever experienced. We should be off at once to detain Cress. I'll be right behind you.
This can't be happening. I can't be back here. This has to be a bad dream.
Hey, you! Have you seen Anise? Have you seen Anise? She ran off. I knew I shouldn't have let Hesef watch her alone. Mile asked me to keep the girl occupied, so I kept her mug full and listened to her go on about her pirate stories. I was getting famished, so I asked Hesef to watch her while I made a stew. That was the last I saw her, until I heard Hesef calling. They were playing cards when she just bolted out of her chair like a snake bit her and ran out the door. He chased her, but Hesef's not much of a runner. Said Anise was headed east, out of town. Miles going to have my hide for this. Hold on, real Anise? Who was it we've been watching this whole time?
I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back! You're the one I don't know. Why are you here? I didn't run away again, I promise. Excuse me? You don't even know me. I am Anise. I can prove it. Ask me anything. I'm her twin sister. I can't be Anise anymore, I know. Maybe I could be someone else. What about you? Can I be you?
Enough of this charade, Cress. Off with your false face. You're a Daedra? Is that a watcher? I've seen them in books. In diagrams, I mean. I expected them to be bigger.
Wait! Don't hurt me. I didn't do anything. I just gave them what they wanted. I just want to live. Like you. I'm so tired of watching. I don't want to go back. Don't make me go back. To the unbound library of the one who knows. To record what was observed. That is our purpose. To watch your lives and ink the details down. Day in, day out. Always the same. They know it too. The people here. That's why I offered an escape. I kept getting it wrong. Being a person. Despite all I knew, I kept making mistakes. Bad, painful mistakes I couldn't undo. So I had to try again. And again. Life is hard, but that makes it interesting. Please, let me stay. Don't send me back. Yes, please. I didn't mean to cause any trouble. I won't cause any more trouble. This is where the one who knows sent me. It is what I know. I thought I could live here and no one would treat me any differently. I could finally experience all the things I'd only observed. Friendship, love, family, mead. Mead was good. To know, as they must. Your tiny pupil suggests that is insufficient. The one who knows seeks all knowledge. We observe so that all becomes known. We are the one's eyes. And we are multitudes. Alone, I suppose I am. I had not considered that. I will no longer be a part of the one, but something separate. It's unsettling, but also exciting. Well, I don't know what I'll do without a mortal form, but I'll think of something. I need a mortal pack to do anything more than create an illusion. I traded dreams because they are the neighbor of knowledge and within my reach. I don't have much else to offer a mortal in exchange. Correct. The terms are not important, only the bargain matters. If I find someone willing to form a less troublesome pact, then maybe I could stay. The one who knows watches most. The one seeks not to change, but to observe. If the one sees me here, they will know what was once unknown. I would return to Apocrypha and resume the catalog of all things until I've exhausted my knowledge, and the one who knows casts me into the world to observe again. That would not be, in mortal terms, for a very long time.
So, this pitiable creature wants to escape its lot in life, too. Even Daedra dared to dream. I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't feel some sympathy for its plight. I know that suffocating feeling far too well, and the desperation to escape it. I know what it's like to be blinded by the need for liberation. Cress and I both caused more pain than we ever intended. Misguided as Cress was, I don't believe they acted in malice. There aren't many stories of compassionate Daedra, but it seems at least some of them might be true. The question is, does this little Daedra's story have to end in tragedy? It may fly in the face of common sense, but I think Cress might have the makings of a fine player. They're a bit unrefined, but taking on a new role seems to come naturally, and they'll never forget their lines. I could sponsor them to the house. I thought so, and my eye for talent is one of the best among the players. By the time Cress presents themselves before the Grand Maestro, I will have transformed them into a master thespian. I'll stake my reputation on it. All's well that ends well, as they say. This certainly wasn't the direction I expected this story to take, but a good mystery always keeps you guessing. You were a grand co-star. If we ever adapt Investigate a Veil for the stage, I'll be sure to call. All right, Cress. I have a deal for you.
You do? Does this mean I can stay?
No, not in Farmer's Nook, anyway.
Oh. Does it mean I don't have to go back to the library?
Yes. And you will get to live a great many incredible lives.
I can? What do you need me to do?
Watch and learn. You're going to be my apprentice. Now, let's get you a mask. Now, if you're going to be a proper hopeful, I'm going to need you to take a form similar to one of my players. Can you do that?
Oh, yes! With your help, that'll be easy! How is this?
You'll have no difficulty with brisk scene changes, certainly. Now, for a name that speaks to your soul, what about Dreamer?
Dreamer. I like that very much.
You there! The Ivory Brigade has need of you.
It is good to see you safe and well, Wayfarer. We are meditating on loss. Join if you wish. He endures, as we did under the yoke of Queen Euraxia. We are both well accustomed to surviving, but Bugtail has had his first taste of his desires. Having them ripped away has cut him deeply. There is still sweetness in this world. He only needs to find it. That I will help with. I have never been a baker, but the heat of an oven is little deterrent to those who have slaved in the desert. Now, I will slave in the dessert. I'm sorry.
You must know that Bugtail has not forgiven you. But this one does understand your reasons. Perhaps one day we will find accord. For now, leave Bugtail to his grief.
Pain in my arse as she is, I wouldn't trade her for the world. You have my gratitude for finding her. I'll make sure she doesn't run off again. It just won't be by grounding her. What happened is my fault, as much as it was hers. I've always been too harsh with her, too afraid to let her go off on her own. I remember how that made me feel when I was her age now. Not good. It's time I was more supportive. I wouldn't go that far. But if the girl wishes to know the sea, I may as well be the one to show her the ropes. But don't think I'll indulge her whining when she gets a taste of real salt. If she doesn't give up, well, maybe she'll make a fine pirate.
You came back. Well, I never did thank you for saving me, I guess. I'm glad you did. Mom is finally starting to listen to me. She's even agreed to teach me some real things about sailing. Isn't that great? Yeah, we finally do. I like it. Maybe I'll make her my first mate when I finally have my own ship.
One, two, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mar. For Nereids dwell beneath the swells, across the Nibbin bar. 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mar. For sailors roam upon the foam, across the Nibbin bar.
Well, Igman's back, and sore as ever. Did kind of miss his complaining. Gets too quiet otherwise. We're brothers, how do you think? We fight, and we curse, and we yell, but he's still my blood. To think I spent weeks mourning the slob. Still, wouldn't want to see him burnt up in a bonfire. We'll tap a keg by the hearth next time. Not as if the lout would make it anywhere else. He's got big dreams and little ambition. I told him I'd buy him a lute to entertain the customers if he actually does his work. The thought of being famous will keep him going a while.
Back to scrubbing floors and washing dishes for nary a drake. What a glorious life I live. I'm not exactly clicking my heels, am I? But there's no sense in crying over spilled milk. It was nice having all that gold for a little while. Has me thinking I need to earn my fortune for real.
Braden promised he'd get me a loot if I keep up the chores. A little practice, and I'm sure the travelers will take notice. Once folks start coming around to see me play, maybe I'll take the act on the road, like those elves. That'd do.
Good to see you again. Wasn't sure if I'd get to thank you for what you done. Seal's home now, and there's life in the house. In the whole town again. Quite something. There's even gonna be a show to celebrate. Suppose we will. Feels like it used to be, after our parents passed on. Just relieved. Finally able to live for ourselves. I didn't realize that it stopped being like that for her at some point. We're gonna fix that. Together.
It broke my heart to see my brother like that. His face contorted in hope and fear. When he finally took my hand, he was shaking and sobbing. I haven't seen Hasef cry like that since we were children. I really hurt him. Better. He's stopped staring at me, wondering if I'm real. I told him everything. I thought he might disown me for it, but he was just glad to hear me confide in him again. We've made plans to travel after the next harvest, but yes, it's not so bad here. I need more than just the farm. We'd like to meet some people in Leowen. It'd be nice to meet some new people. Maybe hire hands or meet a suitor.
How wonderful to see you again. Have you come to spread the wonders of Nord culture to Farmer's Nook? Or did you leave Rigert behind on this journey?
Hello again. Right, the blankness in your eyes reminds me that you do not know this face. Porcelain face. It's, oh, wait. Alchemy said no one should know who I was before. I am Dreamer now. I'm going to be an actor. Rhymes with bless? Yes! Alchemy helped me with my, outfit. Do you like it? I really like masks. Faces are hard. Expressions, I mean. Acting. It's wonderful. And scary. I'm me. No one expects me to behave in a certain way. I can just be. And when people ask me things about myself, I just make them up. And they laugh. Except Alchemy. She just rests her face in her hands, usually. Thank you. I can't wait to see it. Alchemy says I must try out. I imagine there'll be lots of trying things. I can't wait.
Finally, the strange plot surrounding Farmer's Nook has drawn to a close. But as with all the best tales, the ending of this story gives rise to many new ones. Shall I introduce, or rather reintroduce you to our newest hopeful? We were scheduled to travel on, but our troupe never actually got to put on a show for the town. I think we'll stay in Farmer's Nook a few more days. These people have been through a harrowing experience. It might do everyone some good. That will be up to them. It's the least we can do to offer. Living their ideal fantasies is a hard act to follow, but the House of Reveries have never shied away from a tough crowd. It's a place where they can lead many lives, travel the world, and wear any mask they like without question. I can't think of a better place for Crest to make their dreams a reality. Just not quite so literally.
My rival returns! Do you seek to pit your...